Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're looking at our updated draft for Game Week 17 of FPL. We have made a couple of changes since the first team selection video that we put out for Game Week 17, so we are going to show you guys the full 15-man team. If you guys are looking forward to the return of the Premier League, drop a like and subscribe, as there is going to be lots of FPL content coming your guys' way shortly, which will mean you'll have to turn that notification bell on. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we're going to go over the updated draft for Game Week 17. Starting off in goals, we haven't made any changes in this position so far, as it is still the goalkeeping combination of Ward and Everson. We were definitely thinking about going for Kepa as the sub instead of Everson there, and just rotating those Chelsea and Leicester keepers. But for now, I'm happy to spend a little bit less on the goalkeepers, as I still think Leicester's defence is one to be reckoned with, as Danny Ward has recorded 5 clean sheets in his last 6 Premier League matches for Leicester. So Leicester's defence has been absolutely superb so far this season. Despite making a poor start early on, they definitely have recovered, and I still think this Leicester defence could be better than the Chelsea defence, and that is why I want to avoid a double up on this Chelsea defensive assets, as you can see here, we already do have a Reece James in the defence, and I don't think it's worthwhile going for Kepa as well, as if Chelsea don't get a clean sheet, which they haven't done it too frequently this season, there isn't going to be too many points from our players at the back. Moving on, Kieran Trippier looks to be a great pick in defence as well. In fact, in 15 matches for Newcastle, he has returned in 12 out of these 15 games, which is an absolutely massive tally. He has only blanked 3 times across the season, and he is the highest scoring defender and one of the highest scoring players in the whole of FPL. So I definitely would encourage everyone to have Kieran Trippier in their teams. He's pretty much the one essential nailed-on pick that you absolutely want to have in the defence. And probably the second most essential pick would be Cancelo here. He's the man next to him. He does have Leeds away this week, which is a great chance for a clean sheet for Manchester City. Obviously, we know how good Jacques Cancelo has been for Man City across the previous Premier League seasons, consistently being one of the highest scoring defenders, and I do think if he can have a better back end of this Premier League season, he could potentially top the charts as one of the highest scoring defenders in this FPL campaign. Cancelo has been pretty good so far this season, chipping in with a couple of goals and assists, and he has recorded 6 clean sheets as well. And with Man City's fairly favourable run of fixtures coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm sure he's going to make a strong start to the return of the Premier League season for Manchester City. Ben White does accompany him at the back here. He's got West Ham at home for Arsenal. We have discussed Ben White a fair bit recently in some players to target with good double Game Week fixtures coming up. Ben White is definitely one of them, as Arsenal do have a double coming up fairly soon. And I think by having that Arsenal defensive asset in there, it's a great way to capitalise on their very strong defence so far this season, as Ben White has actually recorded 8 clean sheets across the year and has now provided 5 consecutive returns in a row for Arsenal, with 4 clean sheets and 1 assist in his last 5 matches. So I do really like Ben White at just £4.7 million. His ownership is very low, and he's a better, cheaper option than a couple of the other Arsenal defenders, whether that's Saliba or Gabriel, who have risen in price quite a bit more than Ben White. So I do really like Ben White there. He's also chipped in with 2 assists as well. He's not massive on the attacking contributions front, but he can chip in with an occasional attacking return every now and then, which can be very handy, especially for bonus points as well. And then Reece James does round out the defence here against Bournemouth at home. Chelsea definitely could be a team worthwhile targeting, as they have some great fixtures coming up, especially with Bournemouth at home, and they've got a great fixture in Game Week 18 as well, so that's why I would be looking to those Chelsea assets. Right now, Reece James is the only one I've got in the team, but Mason Mount could also be one worthwhile considering due to their great fixture run coming up. But for right now, I'm happy with Reece James here. He has been pretty good when he's played with 1 goal, 1 assist and 1 clean sheet in 6 starts, averaging 0.5 returns per game, which isn't too bad. So I don't mind Reece James here in the defence. I'm sure he can improve his form. He's shown how good he can be at his brilliant best in terms of FPL point scoring, so if he can return to some of that form of previous years, I'm sure he's going to be a superb option. and a decent differential pick as well in defense, as he doesn't have a very high ownership right now. With that being said, let's have a look at the midfielders now. Bukayo Saka is one of the changes that's been made to the team. He's been absolutely superb for Arsenal this season and great for England in the World Cup as well. He has come on in place of Almiron. Almiron has been very good in his own right, but I'm not sure if he can recapture that form that he was in before the World Cup break. Obviously, he's not typically performing at this level in his career, so if he can keep it up when he returns, we'll have to see. But I do like a more secure pick and a more consistent performer in Bukayo Saka here. He's been very good across the season, chipping in with 11 attacking contributions, 4 goals, 7 assists for him. Very decent output. As we've touched on, Arsenal do have a good double game week coming up, and they have good fixtures from now until that double game week, with West Ham at home obviously in game week 17, who haven't been the best so far this season. Another thing with Bukayo Saka is that he's definitely going to be on penalties now for Arsenal, especially with Gabriel Jesus out of the side, which is probably the other main penalty contender for Arsenal. So I do really like Bukayo Saka here at £8 million, since he is going to be on penalties as well for the Gunners, and he has fairly strong underlying numbers, so I'm happy to have Bukayo Saka in the team. Kevin De Bruyne does remain as the premium option in the midfield. He's got Leeds away, which is a great fixture from an attacking perspective, as Leeds don't tend to keep too many clean sheets, and De Bruyne has been very consistent in his returns across the year as well. He's provided 3 goals and 10 FPL assists for Man City this season, so if he can continue this good form, which looks like he's going to be able to do so, as he did provide a goal and an assist in Man City's practice game against Girona, so if he can keep doing this in the Premier League, he's going to be a great point scorer for us. And Gabriel Martinelli does round out the midfield with a triple up on Arsenal, which I definitely am happy to have. Obviously, I've touched on the Arsenal good fixtures and their double game week coming up in a few weeks' time. Martinelli definitely is one of the best value options at his price as well at 6.8. Only Almiron has scored more points for midfielders amongst his price. As Martinelli is one of the top 3 scoring players for players of £6.8 million or less. So definitely a fan of him. He can always chip in with those good attacking returns, and definitely a nice value pick. He is definitely going to be a very popular option, as his ownership is sitting at over 40% currently. So I'm sure he's going to be in most managers' teams that are still actively playing FPL. And then looking to the forwards up top, as we noticed, there has been a change made here. Erling Haaland, though, does remain the same. He's got the captain's armband. A fairly obvious pick. I don't see any reason not to have Haaland in the team, and I think he's probably going to be the most popular pick in squads for game week 17 onwards, with good reason, as he is the highest scoring player in FPL, and he is the top scoring player so far this season in terms of goal tally. So no reason not to have Erling Haaland in the team. And Darwin Núñez, as you can see here, he is one of the changes that we've made to the team. So the 2 changes being Almiron and Kane out for Darwin Núñez and Saka. I do think Darwin Núñez could match Harry Kane for points across the next 5 to 6 game weeks, and at £2 million less, or £2.6 million less, he could be a much better value option, and that has allowed us to free up that upgrade from Almiron to Saka, and I think Saka is a more consistent performer who's on penalties as well for his respective side. So definitely very happy with these changes, and Darwin Núñez does have a slightly less ownership than Harry Kane, so a little bit more differential there. Obviously, Saka does have a lower ownership than Almiron as well, so slightly mixing it up with this team, which I don't mind, and I think Darwin Núñez could be a good punt as well, and it's a great way to get in on that Liverpool attack, since we don't have Mo Salah in the midfield. Obviously, with the double up of Man City attack with Haaland and De Bruyne, we've missed out on the Liverpool attack, and I still think the Liverpool attack is one worth considering and capitalising on, as they are a team that does score lots of goals throughout the season, and are a team that should improve in the second half of the Premier League campaign. So that's what I've got on Darwin Núñez there. And then Mitrovic does run out the attack as well, as he looks to be a great value option at £6.8 million at the moment. One of the highest scoring forwards at this price. 9 goals across the season. Does have one of the highest amounts of shots on target this Premier League campaign, and also a very good XG amongst forwards. All for a player at a fairly cheap price for a team that does give him lots of service. He's getting lots of chances on penalties as well for Fulham, and he does have 3 goals in his last 4 matches for Fulham, so he's carrying in some decent form in his recent starts for them. Looking to the bench now, Everson, as we touched on, is the sub goalkeeper. Rodrigo does remain here as the midfielder on the bench. I'm really excited to see what Rodrigo can produce with 5 goals in his last 4 matches for Leeds before the World Cup break. He is actually the top goal scoring midfielder in FPL this season with 9 goals already. He has also accompanied this with some assists as well. So very keen on having Rodrigo in the side. He looks to be the main focal point of that Leeds attack. And from game weeks 18 through 25, Leeds have 0 matches with an FDR rating of over 3. So a very favourable extended run of fixtures for Leeds and a great differential option at just 8%, which I would have you guys considering to be in your teams. Andreas Pereira does remain as the second bench pick here. He's just coming in at 4.6, a fairly stock standard one. I do encourage everyone to have Andreas in the team. He's a great player to free up money in the squad. And if need be, he can start for your side if you've got a couple of player shortages, whether that's injuries or suspensions. Andreas can come on and potentially provide that attacking return, as he has done so for our side personally a couple of times this season. And then Bueno does round out the bench. He's coming in at £3.9 million and has actually started the last 5 consecutive games for Wolves. Whether he's going to do so once Wolves do have those defenders that return from injury, we'll have to see. But I'm very excited to have him at 3.9, as if he can continue to start for Wolves, he can capitalise on their decent defence and pick up a couple of clean sheet points. He also did provide an attacking return when he was starting for Wolves there, so he does get forward at the pitch, which is good to see. So I'm happy to have him at 3.9. Ideally, we would be looking towards either Patterson or Nico Williams as well. There are a couple of other decent contenders for that last bench slot. And then looking at some general information about the team, it should be a very affordable side, as our squad value for this team is just 101 with 0.3 left in the bank, as we did put up quite a lot of value in Harry Kane from the start of the season, so that's why the squad value has dropped down a bit. And looking at the rank really quickly, it is 685k, and as always, the goal will be looking to push inside the top 100k by the end of the Premier League season. So that is pretty much it. That's how the team lines up for Game Week 17. I'm very happy with the squad, and I'm keen to see how it gets on with the return of the Premier League season. Thanks for watching today's updated draft for Game Week 17 of FPL. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you are looking forward to the return of the Premier League season, drop a like and subscribe, as there is going to be lots of FPL content from our end coming your guys' way shortly. Also, click that notification bell to stay up to date with all of these recent FPL videos. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.